For over 3,000 years, it lay hidden, a hushed whisper buried deep beneath the relentless, shifting sands of the Egyptian desert.
This was no ordinary burial site. No ancient map recorded
No
it. weathered papyrus dared to speak its name.
It was sealed,
utterly forgotten.
It was sealed,
A secret that the vast, timeless landscape itself had held close for millennia. Humanity had moved on, built empires, fallen and risen again, entirely oblivious to the profound truth sleeping just inches beneath their feet. But then, as if the desert itself decided it was time to speak, a hairline crack appeared in the seemingly solid stone. As the initial beams of light pierced the millennia of darkness, an astonishing collection of artifacts slowly emerged from the gloom. This was no ordinary tomb. Objects meticulously carved from lapis lazuli, stone prized by the Egyptians for its celestial blue and symbolic connection to the heavens, depicted scenes and figures never before seen in hieroglyphic art. Stone and dark wooden masks, unlike the serene, idealized expression of familiar funerary effigies, seemed to possess a chilling, watchful quality. Their eyes unblinking, their expressions unnervingly specific. Each piece was a voice, whispering fragments of a deeply forgotten history. Each item, a forgotten ritual, buried alive for eternity.
The Valley
of the
Kings,
while unmistakably Egyptian in its craft, or designs and material combinations unlike any known from other dynasties. There were swords crafted from pure unalloyed copper, a material almost unheard of for weapons of this period, hinting at a lost metallurgy or perhaps a ceremonial purpose beyond combat. Alongside them, strange musical instruments, their forms alien to traditional Egyptian orchestras, seemed to hum with silent, forgotten melodies. Tiny fracture, almost imperceptible
primarily because of its ingenious concealment.
Just enough to reveal
Buried
an
deep
unsettling
within a
glimpse of
natural
impenetrable
geological
darkness
fault
beyond.
line, the tomb offered no external markers, no telltale signs that grave robbers or even the most meticulous modern archaeologists could detect. It was as if the earth itself had conspired to keep it hidden for millennia. Then an unexpected discovery shifted everything.
Primarily because
it wasn't the find of a grand, obvious entrance,
buried deep
but a
within a
subtle
natural
anomaly
geological
on a
fault
routine
line.
geological
No
scan.
external markers,
A team
no telltale signs
expecting
that
to
grave
chart a
robbers,
natural cavity,
or even the most
instead found
meticulous
an
modern
impossibly
archaeologists
precise,
could detect. It
meticulously
was as if
carved
the earth
facade.
itself had conspired to
No
keep
one
it
expected
hidden
a
for
second
millennia.
door,
This
tucked
wasn't
away
the work
behind
of natural
centuries
erosion.
of compacted
It was a
dust and
revelation,
debris.
a subtle tearing
No
of the
one
veil between
imagined
epochs.
another world
A
behind
team
it.
expecting to
As
chart
the first
a natural
slab
cavity
was
instead
carefully
found an
removed,
impossibly
the air,
precise,
stagnant
meticulously
and still
carved
for
facade.
3 millennia,
No one
finally
expected a
stirred.
second door, tucked
Dust,
away behind
thick
centuries
and
of
ancient,
compacted dust
swirled
and debris.
around strange,
No one
forgotten
imagined
symbols,
another world behind it.
pictograms that hinted
As
at
the
an
first
older,
slab was carefully
darker
removed,
language, one
the
not
air
seen in
stagnant
official
and still
texts
for 3 millennia,
epochs.
finally
And then,
stirred.
revealed behind
Dust,
cunningly
thick
concealed
and
ceremonial
ancient,
locks, lay a
swirled around
second,
strange,
even more
forgotten
imposing
symbols,
doorway.
pictograms
What
that hinted
incredible
at an older,
secrets
darker
could possibly
language,
lie beyond
one
a
not seen
barrier
in official
designed to
texts
be
for
so
epochs.
profoundly
And
hidden?
then, revealed behind
The air
cunningly
inside this
concealed
newly
ceremonial
opened
locks
chamber was thick
lay
with
a
the scent
second,
of ages,
even more
a
imposing
peculiar,
doorway.
intoxicating
What incredible
mix of
secrets
dry
could
earth,
possibly lie
ancient
beyond a
embalming
barrier designed
resins,
to be so
and
profoundly
something
hidden?
else.
It was this
Something
tiny
uniquely
fissure that would
ancient
ultimately
and
lead to a
profoundly
truth so profound,
unsettling.
so utterly unexpected,
As the initial
it
beams
would
of
shatter
light pierced
everything
the
we thought
millennia
we knew
of
about the
darkness,
Pharaohs,
an
their
astonishing collection
mysterious
of
rituals,
artifacts
and the very
slowly
fabric of
emerged
ancient
from the
Egypt.
gloom.
Everything
This
we
was
thought
no
we knew
ordinary tomb.
was profoundly
The jewelry,
wrong.
while
The Valley of the
unmistakably
Kings,
Egyptian in its
that
craft,
sprawling
bore
necropolis
designs
already
and
famous
material
for its
combinations unlike any known
gold-laden
from other
burials
dynasties.
seemed to have yielded
There
all
were
its
swords
secrets.
crafted from pure,
Then,
unalloyed
an unexpected
copper,
discovery
a material
shifted
almost
everything.
unheard of for
It
weapons
wasn't the
of this
find of a
period,
grand, obvious
hinting at a
entrance,
lost metallurgy,
but a subtle anomaly
or perhaps
on a
a
routine
ceremonial
geological
purpose
scan.
beyond combat.
The air inside this newly
Alongside
opened
them,
chamber was
strange
thick with the
musical
scent of
instruments,
ages.
their
Peculiar,
forms alien to
intoxicating mix of
traditional
dry earth,
Egyptian orchestras,
ancient embalming
seemed
resins,
to hum
and
with
something
silent,
else.
forgotten melodies.
Something uniquely ancient,
But the
and profoundly
collection grew
unsettling.
stranger still.
But the collection
Pottery
grew stranger
vessels,
still.
perfectly sealed
Pottery
despite the
vessels,
passage of
perfectly
eons,
sealed despite the
contained
passage of
oils
eons,
that still
contained
shimmered
oils
with an
that still
eerie,
shimmered with
dark
an eerie,
viscosity.
viscosity.
Objects
And at the very heart of
meticulously
this
carved from
enigmatic
lapis
trove
lazuli, a
resting
stone
on an
prized
obsidian
by the
pedestal,
Egyptians
was
for
the
its
most
celestial
unsettling
blue and
discovery of
symbolic
all.
connection to the heavens,
A mirror.
depicted
Not
scenes
of
and
polished
figures
bronze or
never
gleaming
before
silver,
seen in
as
hieroglyphic
was common
art.
in ancient Egypt,
Stone and
but of a
dark
deep,
wooden masks,
unreflective black.
unlike the serene,
A black
idealized expressions of
And what they
familiar
found there
funerary
deepened the
effigies,
mystery to an almost
seemed to
unbearable
possess
degree.
a chilling, watchful
More primitive
quality.
pictographic
Their eyes
system,
unblinking,
a form of writing
their
believed to have
expressions
vanished from common use
unnervingly
millennia before
specific.
this tomb.
Each
Estimated
piece was a
construction
voice,
date. This
whispering
repeated lament
fragments of a
pointed to
deeply
a forced,
forgotten
perhaps
history.
violent end,
Each
suggesting
item,
the
a
entombed
forgotten
individual's
ritual,
fate was not a
buried
peaceful
alive
transition
for
to the
eternity.
afterlife.
And at the
Debates
very
raged,
heart of
theories
this
clashed,
enigmatic
as
trove,
experts grappled with the
resting on an
implications of the
obsidian
unnameable of the
pedestal,
West.
was the most
The unique artifacts
unsettling
and the
discovery
unsettling
of
nature of
all,
the inscriptions
a mirror,
certainly lent credence
not
to
of
this darker
polished bronze
interpretation.
or gleaming silver,
This
as
clandestine
was common in
sect,
ancient
perhaps
Egypt,
fiercely loyal to the
but of a
unnameable,
deep,
might have conducted their own
black,
distinct rituals,
a black
meticulously
mirror,
preserving forbidden knowledge.
utterly without
A
precedent in any known
multidisciplinary team,
Egyptian burial.
armed with cutting-edge
Its
technology,
surface seemed to
began
absorb all
unlock
light,
clues the
offering
ancients
no
never
reflection,
intended us to find.
only an unsettling
Its composition
void.
was utterly
What
unprecedented in
terrifying
ancient
purpose
Egyptian
could
metallurgy.
such an object
A
possibly
precise
serve in
and
the final
deliberate
resting place of
blend
someone
hematite
meant to
and
be
magnetite,
forgotten?
natural
As the
mineral
initial
forms of iron
awe of the
oxide,
artifacts began
with
to
strange,
subside,
carefully inserted
the
flecks of
archaeological
obsidian,
team turned
of
their
volcanic
attention
glass,
to the
its
true
complex,
language of
almost
the tomb.
ritualistic
The
combination
inscriptions
suggested
covering
a
its
purpose
walls
far
and
beyond
ceiling,
simple reflection,
and what they
perhaps
found
for
there
divination,
deepened the
scrying,
mystery
or
to
even
an
communication
almost
with realms
unbearable
beyond the
degree.
living, hinting at
Unlike the
practices
neat
unknown
linear
to mainstream
columns of
Egyptology.
traditional Egyptian
This is
hieroglyphs
not just another
found
tomb.
in almost
It is a
every other
seismic
royal
shift,
tomb,
a revaluation
these
of
inscriptions
centuries of established
sprawled
knowledge.
across the ceiling
The unique
in
artifacts,
sweeping,
the baffling cryptic
spiraling,
inscriptions,
non-linear
and the very
patterns.
architecture of this
They were
peculiar
fluid,
burial site,
almost organic,
forcing
as if
scholars
drawn by a
worldwide to
hand
redefine
compelled by a
long-accepted
desperate,
chronologies.
hurried
It's the
urgency
silent,
rather than the
enduring
measured
whisper of a
precision of a
forgotten
scribe.
life, a lost era.
Behind the artifact,
His tomb,
hidden
a
from
silent,
immediate
defiant
view,
testament to
lay
a
even
forgotten
more
era,
text,
continues to guard
meticulously
its deepest
carved,
secrets.
but seemingly
What if the
intended to
inscription
remain
spoke
unseen,
not just of a forgotten
a
king,
secret
but of a forbidden
within
truth?
a secret.
A secret
The
so
language
dangerous it had to
itself
be
was a
buried not
baffling
just from the
hybrid.
living, but from
While
history
many
itself.
symbols were indeed
Join us as
recognizable
we
as
continue to
classical
explore the
hieroglyphs,
untold
they were
histories and
strangely
unexplored enigmas of
interwoven
our world.
with an older,
8.
more
Subscribe to the
primitive
Prehistory Channel for
pictographic
more
system,
forgotten stories
a
from the
form of
ancient
writing
world.
believed to have vanished
Don't
from
miss what
common
the
use
sands will
millennia
reveal next.
before this tomb's
Others
estimated
believe,
construction
something
date.
that should simply never wake.
This blending
dormant truth,
hinted at a lineage,
or even a
a
lingering
knowledge,
presence best left
or perhaps
undisturbed
a
beneath
sect
the desert's
that
timeless
predated
embrace.
or
The
defied the
decision to leave
established
the inner
order,
sarcophagus sealed
and the
for
messages
now
conveyed
is a
by
testament
these
to
strange
this profound
symbols,
uncertainty.
they were profoundly
We have peeled back
disturbing,
layers of sand
starkly
and stone,
different from the
deciphered
triumphant
cryptic
odes
symbols,
to
and
gods and
analyzed
pharaohs
ancient
found
dust.
elsewhere.
Yet the
Some
ultimate truth of
inscriptions
who he
appeared
was
to curse the
and why
tomb
he was so
itself,
meticulously
invoking
erased from
dark
history
forces
eludes
and
us.
promising eternal
The very
oblivion
existence of this
to
hidden
anyone
chamber
who dared to
challenges
disturb
our
its
understanding
inhabitants.
of ancient power struggle,
Others seemed to
religious
weep,
beliefs,
lamenting a
and the lengths
great
to which a
injustice,
society would go to
a
bury a
betrayal
truth
that echoed through
and
the
memory
stone.
is the
But
true
one
immortality.
chilling message, carved
fragile yet
repeatedly
powerful link
and with
to a
an
past
unnerving
that still has
insistence
so
on
much to
every
tell us,
available surface,
challenging
echoed
our
a
present
singular,
understanding and
desperate
opening new
truth.
avenues for future discovery.
He was never meant
The
to
legacy
die
of this
here.
tomb will undoubtedly shape
This
the future
repeated
of
lament
Egyptology
pointed to
for
a
generations
force,
to come.
perhaps violent
To reevaluate
end,
existing
suggesting the
theories on
entombed
royal
individual's
funerary
fate was
rituals,
not a peaceful
and potentially
transition
even
to
to
the
rewrite
afterlife.
significant portions
And
of the
referring
political
to
and
whom?
religious structures of
A
the
pharaoh
Middle Kingdom,
utterly
that a forgotten
unknown to
dynasty
official
rule
history,
alongside, or even
referred to
before
only
the known
as
pharaohs.
the unnameable
Was the
of the
accepted
West.
timeline of ancient
Who
Egypt
was
more
this
fluid,
individual,
more complex,
powerful enough for
and
such an
perhaps more
elaborate,
tumultuous than
secretive
previously
burial,
imagined?
yet so
Every speck of
completely
dust,
erased
every
from the
fragment of
official
material
record?
was
The
subjected to
inscriptions
intense
were not
scrutiny.
just telling a story.
Museums across
They were
the globe
crying
clamored for a
out,
glimpse of its
demanding
unprecedented
answers
treasures,
from across
eager
the
to
chasm
decipher the
of
untold story they
3,000
represented.
years.
But
The
with this
perplexing
unparalleled
discoveries
discovery
within the hidden
came
chamber
equally profound
ignited
ethical
a
dilemmas.
veritable
How
firestorm
should
within
such
the
a fragile
global
and unique
archaeological
site be
community.
conserved against the ravages
Debates
of time
raged,
and the elements?
theories clashed,
Should it
as
ever be
experts
open to the
grappled
public,
with the
risking
implications of the
irreparable damage to its
unnameable of
delicate
the West.
contents, and
Who
the
was
loss
this
of its unique
figure,
atmospheric atmospheric
so clearly
qualities.
important,
The
yet
dilemma
so
weighs heavily
completely
on the minds of
expunged
those
from
sworn to
every
protect
official
humanity's
record?
ancient heritage.
Was this the
Balancing
resting place of a
scientific inquiry
heretical
with
pharaoh
conservation.
whose reign was deemed
DNA
so
analysis on minute
abhorrent
human
that
remains,
all mention of his
meticulously
existence
extracted
was
from secondary
systematically
urns found within the
eradicated,
chamber,
his monuments
began a
defaced,
painstaking
his
process.
name
Did
cursed
these
from
genetic
history?
fingerprints
Such
finally
acts of
reveal the
damnatio
familial
memoriae
lineage of the
were
unnameable?
known in ancient Egypt.
Was he related to
but
known
rarely
pharaohs from
so
established
complete.
dynasties?
Another
Suggesting a
compelling
hidden branch
hypothesis
of the royal family?
suggested a cursed
Or did his
priest
DNA speak of a
or a
completely
practitioner
foreign
of
origin?
forbidden magic.
perhaps from the
interred
Near
with
East,
strange
or even
rites,
further
and
afield,
sealed away to prevent
corroborating
his
theories
malevolent
of an invading
influence
or
from
exiled
seeping
king,
into the afterlife.
ensuring his burial rites
The unique
completely defied
artifact
traditional
and the
Egyptian
unsettling
norms and
nature of
practices.
the inscriptions
A direct
certainly
comparison of
lent
this tomb
credence
to other
this
royal
darker
interments
interpretation.
revealed not just subtle
But
variations,
perhaps the most
but radical
intriguing
differences.
theory posited
Not
that
the
he
usual
was
grand
a foreign
corridors and
king,
intricate reliefs.
powerful enough to
As
challenge
higher
Egyptian
resolution
authority,
ground-penetrating
whose
radar
burial
passed over
rites
the tomb
blended
floor.
diverse cultures,
It revealed clear,
and whose
distinct
ultimate
anomalies,
defeat
perfectly shaped
led to
voids
his
deep beneath
complete
the main chamber.
obliteration from
The scans
historical
painted
memory
a detailed
by
picture
the
of still
triumphant
untouched,
pharaohs
sealed
of
chambers,
Thebes.
promising even
One
deeper secrets
particularly
yet to be
compelling
unveiled.
theory
The tomb,
centered
it
on the
seemed,
existence
was not
of
just
a
a single
secret
burial
cult
site,
operating
but a
in the
complex, multi-layered
shadows,
puzzle box.
far from the watchful
And we had
eyes
only
and
just turned the
strict
very first
orthodoxy
piece,
of the Theban
exposing
priesthood.
layers of mystery
This
that
clandestine
extended far
sect,
beyond the initial
perhaps
discovery.
fiercely loyal
But
to
a
the
layout suggesting
unnameable of the
secrecy
West,
and concealment,
might have conducted their
a
own
palpable
distinct
sense
rituals,
of something
meticulously
hidden
preserving
and forbidden.
forbidden knowledge and
As
ensuring
archaeologists
his burial
painstakingly
rites
reassembled
completely
fragmented
defied
pieces of
traditional
ancient
Egyptian
papyri found
norms
in
and
neighboring,
practices.
more conventional tombs,
A direct
they
comparison
began
of
to
this
discern
tomb
whispers of betrayal, political intrigue,